The NASCAR Kids Club is excited to have the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion and driver of the number 11 College Racing Chevrolet, Daniel Hemric. So please join me in welcoming Daniel, and make sure you say hello to him in the chat. He can see your messages and your questions. And again, start throwing those questions into the chat. I'm going to do my best to field them to Daniel, and he's going to be answering everything you guys have to ask him. So again, let's welcome Daniel Hemric. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, and we have tons of kids and families in our virtual hangouts. I should see all of them saying hello in the chat. And we're going to kick things off because it looks like questions are already coming in. Jody wants to know what your favorite sport is besides NASCAR.
Oh, that's a tough one. For me, I grew up not being very good at anything other than racing, but I tried all of the sports. Actually, believe it or not, when I was younger, I suffered a couple of knee injuries that kind of took me out of playing basketball, playing baseball, and all that good stuff. So within about the last 4 or 5 years, I actually took up golf. I love golf. I love the mental challenge of it, and it is so hard to put an entire round of golf together and really use a lot of what I learned within myself playing golf at racetracks, inside the race car, how you mentally got to keep yourself in the game all the time. So golf is something I've definitely migrated to as I've gotten older.
Well, you're in Phoenix this weekend for the race. We saw you there last fall claiming the NASCAR Xfinity Series championship. So you are now the defending champion. And I saw where Heather wants to know, how did winning the Xfinity Series championship change your life?
Oh, in many ways. That's first off, it's one thing they can't take from you. You always get this cool patch on your suit. Every race following that, it says champion on it. So, in reality, though, my family, friends, supporters throughout the years have put so much into it. It was honestly the first life-changing moment was just being able to celebrate that with them, to be able to kind of look back, tell stories, reflect on everything we've done together, and to be able to, to be crowned the champion that night on that stage. I think it was just the beginning of kind of this blossoming relationship that I have here with Colleague Racing, and obviously that was already in motion, but that kind of was the icing on the cake for me to be able to, make that move over to these guys and hopefully build a long-standing career here with what you see here on the shirt.
Yeah, Colleague Racing, we love to see it. Leo wants to know what your favorite part being a NASCAR driver is.
But I really, really just love once you get to this level. I've been doing it long enough to have a decent platform and stage to kind of, reach out and get back to the community and do things like this. I love more so interacting with others and just kind of fulfilling what you've seen so many before you have a chance to do growing up, having idols, having Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, and these guys, and seeing how they were able to impact their communities. That's always been something that's been special to myself and my wife, Kenzie, and I'd say for sure probably my favorite part of it.
Well, part of your deal with Colleague is not only racing full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We're excited to see you race later today. But you're also splitting time in one of their Cup Series cars as they make their way into full-time Cup Series racing. So what has been the hardest part, Liana wants to know, about driving the Gen 7 car, this next-gen car? I guess we should start calling it the current gen car, right?
Yeah, I get confused on the gens and which one's which and all that. But, just when I signed up here at Colleague Racing, it was Xfinity only, like you talked about, and to be able to have the opportunity to jump in a select amount of Cup races with Colleague Racing, it's just been special for me personally, because after 2019, I never thought I'd have the opportunity to get back to that level. So to have that opportunity in front of you and then go and, heck, we came 6 laps down at Fontana to finish 9th and be able to actually make a splash in that car, right out the gate. I'd say the most fun thing about it has been just seeing everybody change and evolve and grow within that car each and every week. Everybody has never been, all the racing's never been more equal. And to be able to show up with this group and have some success, it's been so much fun watching those guys putting smiles on their faces. But the car is very challenging. It is so hard to drive, which is the way it should be. We're the highest level of all of motorsports. And to be able to go out there and be elbows up, sliding around, that's what it's all about.
Well, every driver has their ups and downs in their career, and you're very vocal about kind of the hard things you've gone throughout your career. And I know it took a lot to get to where you are today, and to, you know, have the success we saw you have at the end of last season. So Jake wants to know, what's the hardest thing that you've had to overcome, and how did you do it? And I'll actually say that could be on the racetrack, or that could be off the racetrack.
You know, the racing part, I've always thought was kind of what you feel like you're supposed to be doing, but it's trying to figure out the logistics to get here. That's the tough part.
Well, I know a lot of the kids watching and listening and participating today look up to you, but when you were younger, Philip wants to know, who was your favorite driver as a kid?
Yeah, so I kind of, honestly, two guys I always kind of just were attracted to, as far as how they went about themselves, how they you know, kind of just present themselves at the racetrack, on the racetrack. You know, myself being from Kannapolis, North Carolina, obviously Dale Earnhardt was my guy when I was a young kid. But then throughout time, seeing a guy named Carl Edwards come to the sport and have success, and then see how just truly humbled and never forgot where he came from kind of guy he was, like that always resonated with me. And I was fortunate to have some interaction with him, you know, actually in my younger days. And little story real quick, the funny part about that is Carl Edwards and my crew chief last year, Dave Rogers, became really good buddies. And Dave Rogers was Carl's crew chief when he finally retired. And when he retired, they maintained a great relationship. My point being, that crew chief of mine, Dave Rogers, got married this offseason, and Carl was at the wedding, really small wedding. My wife and I were able to be there and kind of reconnect with Carl and hear some of his stories. Yeah, so that look up to that guy, and then at some point be able to form some kind of relationship, that's pretty special.
Well, we know Carl for his backflips, and you do the backflip too. Who do you think has the better backflip?
Oh, I don't know. That's up for these guys to decide. I'm not. It's pretty funny. I definitely took the backflip because I'd seen Carl do it when I was a kid, and actually was fortunate enough to do it like a week later at a local short track. I think it was after Carl won his first truck race. So I waited a long time to be able to do that one. You got to see it here at Phoenix last year. So hopefully there's many more in the future.
Which I did see a great question from Oliver. What did it feel like to have the first race that you won in a NASCAR, you know, Premier Series be the championship race?
Oh gosh, yeah, that's that Game 7 moment. You know, one of those moments that in a stage that you can't make any bigger. I don't believe, at least, you know, in our sport. I don't know, you know, if there's any more. I don't know what the right word is for it, but I can't think of just a more pressure situation and to have it go the way it went, last corner, last lap, whole season on the line. And for me personally, it felt like a bit of my career on the line to be able to come out like that. Like you know, I am a huge sports fan of all kinds, and to be able to pull for teams in those moments, let alone be, I guess, in a roundabout way, the team in that moment and succeed. Oh man, I get goosebumps thinking about it.
Well, the great thing about NASCAR Kids Club is we get all sorts of questions. And I saw earlier somebody wanted to know, do you like waffles? I'll expand it a little bit.
That's what
do you
I
like
said.
Waffles? And it's early in Phoenix. So what did you have for breakfast, or what's your typical race day breakfast?
Yeah, so my typical race day breakfast is a pretty decent, big, hearty Southern breakfast. You know, bacon, actually a little bit of bacon. I actually like breakfast ham, actually. So ham and eggs. A little bit of white toast. Nothing crazy. I don't eat a lot of fruit for breakfast.